Hey there, welcome back to Cisco Reads Books. Today we got a review for you, and it is Jeff Shaara's Rise to Rebellion. So this was the first book that I read for Independence July, and the reading event that nobody knows about, but I started it this year, where we celebrate the history of America. With this first inaugural Independence July, I decided to go back to the American Revolution. And Jeff Shaara's Rise to Rebellion fits the bill. So basically, this is a historical fiction novel about basically from the beginning of the Townshend Acts, or the end of the Townshend Acts and the beginning of the new taxes levied against the colonists during 1775 or 1774 until 1776. So you get some broad sweeping kind of time changes and stuff in this, where they're recounting past events and kind of like what led us here. As far as this being like a action-packed novel, it is not. This is much more on the political side of things, leading up to basically Lexington and Concord, which happens, farther on. It's a 2-book series. The next one in it is The Glorious Cause, which I assume has a little bit more of the battle sequences that you're looking for from the American Revolution. But as a political kind of setup to the revolution itself, like Rise to Rebellion definitely hits that note. It follows Thomas Gage, which was the British commander in Boston at the time, or the British North American commander at the time, which, I mean, is crazy to think that this one guy was in control of like only 20,000 troops, I think, across all of the 13 colonies to kind of, police the rustic, rebel rousing colonists of America. So we follow Thomas Gage, we follow John Adams, we follow Benjamin Franklin, and we follow, what was the other one? I think that was it, right? Oh, George Washington. I don't know how I forgot that, but yeah. It's a great setup. I'm pretty sure The Glorious Cause came out first, and this was like a prequel to that one. At least that's like on the cover it says the author of Glorious Cause, which is book 2 in this duology. So if they're putting that on the cover, either it won an award that this one didn't, or it was written before it. So I'm not really sure, and I don't really want to like mess with that pile right now and just like see the copyright dates. So when I review that one, I'll let you know if it was written after or before this one. But anyway, this one was written in, we'll at least tell you that much. It's written in 2001, or published in 2001, not written. Could have been written 10 years before that. We don't fucking know. But yeah, Rise to Rebellion. This is a fantastic opening to Independence July for me. I did read this book heavily on the 4th of July before my barbecues and other events that I went to that day. And it definitely gets you in the mood for just everything that this country stands for. It's beautifully written. I mean, Jeff Shaara has a way with telling historical fiction that I've never really encountered before from a lot of people. Like the level of research that goes into a Jeff Shaara book is kind of miraculous. It's just dripping with that sense of 1776 and just a beautiful depiction of both the British and the American colonist side of things, and how different the worldview was between those two parties leading to the revolution, and just the complete arrogance of the British aristocracy that a bunch of peasants with pitchforks and muskets could beat the mighty British Empire. like really kind of it encapsulated that kind of feel of the arrogance of the British Empire at this time, and just the lack of basically true leadership from their king, which was completely controlled by the parliament. But I mean, as a younger king, that's kind of understandable because you get the sense that, like, he's just coming into his power, and he's really relying on these parliamentary advisors that he has to kind of get through things. So like a lot of the acts that he foisted onto the colonists, like the Stamp Act, the Tea Act, like all of these taxes were meant to pay for the British involvement in the Seven Years' War, otherwise as we know it as the French and Indian War. Um, and you just see the people around him were like, well, we don't want to bother the British citizens because if they rebel, we'll have a bigger problem. Because they really just didn't think of the American colonists as somebody that would step up to this kind of stuff. And, throughout the novel, you kind of see just the gathering animosity that the colonists have for this. And like the fact that like a lot of the American colonists, if that fought in the French and Indian War, at least on the North American continent, um, not including the larger scale war that happened on the European continent that we don't really learn about so much anymore. I mean, we know about the French and Indian War because that was what influenced our birth as a nation. Because from that war came all these taxes that were screwing the colonists over to pay the British debts for the war that they fought with France. So, with all that being said, like this is just a phenomenal novel of American history. As I said, like the action part is definitely lacking. Um, Basically, so you get a timeline of like events here. The book basically starts off with the Boston Massacre and goes right up until um, basically the march to Lexington and Concord, if I'm not mistaken. Um, yeah, it goes up to July 9th, 1776. So like right after the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Um, and it's just a phenomenal novel. If you're into American history and specifically the American Revolution, this is a must read book. Just because the historical accuracy in this is just a 10 out of 10. As far as like an overall rating, it's probably more like a 3.5. Like it was a good book. It was much more political than I thought it was going to be, which kind of did color the influence of the rating a little bit. But I do like that political aspect of it. Um, I am hoping for a little bit more action in Glorious Cause, just because I do like lines and muskets and the smoke of the battlefield and all of that kind of essence of like 17 uh, or 18, yeah, 1700s warfare up until like the Napoleonic conflicts. Like that period of time and warfare is just my favorite to study, just because it was um, so ordered, and like the rules of war were like an actual thing. Where after the Napoleonic conflicts, it kind of we get into more modern weapons and stuff where uh, it's not as uh, ordered as it was during this time period, where you're standing 50 yards away from somebody, looking them in the eyes and leveling your musket as a unit. Like there's just something um, so romantic about that it's like that time period had gentlemen doing battle. And it just it really is one of those things where if you're into that kind of stuff, this is definitely a book for you. If you like the American Revolution or want to learn more about it, this book is for you. If you want a book that celebrates the founding of our country and the writing of the Declaration of Independence, this book is for you. um, so all in all, I do highly recommend this book just for anybody from America. Even if you're British, I mean, I guess you can read it. I mean, Happy Treason Day, you know. But all in all, great book and great beginning to independence July. So, until next time, read, because reading is fundamental.